Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. And through this channel, I'll be providing some stock analysis and also an update on our $1 million challenge, so please stay tuned. In the previous video, we did a stock update on ticker symbol MMAT, Meta Materials, and we looked at an updated potential calculation for the dividend using updated prices for oil, gas, and also a comparison with the recent sale of assets of Shell. So please refer back to the previous video for details of the updated projected dividend calculation. So before we start today's stock update, quick recap of the $1 million challenge. If anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years, using a strategy called compound return investing. So we're looking to achieve 201 trades with an average return of approximately 3.5% per trade. However, it's not 201 consecutive trades, it's 201 trades with an average return of 3.5%, and we do also take into account losses. So we have a spreadsheet in the challenge with specially chosen stocks, many of them low risk. We also have a dedicated Discord community, well in excess of 300 now, working together in the challenge to share information, share due diligence, trading tips, technical analysis and chart analysis. And we have a dedicated area in the Discord for the challenge, and this includes an agreement, FAQ section, chat section, an opportunity to share your buys. The spreadsheet is also available here, king alerts, queen alerts, and also leaderboard and update section. So if anybody's interested in joining us on this journey, please click on the details below in the description. Today's video is a stock update on ticker symbol MMAT and also an update on the tradable OTC stock for the preference share, ticker symbol MMTLP. So we have had a response from the company. Before we look at the response, let's just have a look at who the response is from. So this response is from Mark Komonoski, and he is Capital Markets and IR at Meta. So we can see on the screen here, there is an email address for him, there is a phone number and confirmation that this person is representative of Meta Materials. So let's now have a look at his response. Before we look at a breakdown of some specific questions, let's first of all have a look at the introduction in terms of the response from Mark and what he said at the beginning. So first of all, the important thing I think we can pick up here is has confirmed information that we already knew, and that is Torchlight stockholders of the record of the Series A preferred shares will receive a dividend on the basis of a 1-for-1. So if you remember, there was a share split. So if you had 500 Torch shares, they became 1,000. If you had 1,000 Torch shares, they became 2,000. But for the purposes of the dividend, this will be based on the amount of shares that you held in Torch. So that's the first thing to be aware of. We have confirmation of that here in writing. So let's have a look at what else we can find. So the other thing of note here is the company is still looking to confirm details of sale of assets for oil and gas. And they have a sale expiration date of December the 28th, 2021. So still no confirmation of the sale. So in the previous video, I did look at a potential fair value calculation of the dividend, and it was a conservative estimate. So please refer back to the previous video for that. So confirmation here in terms of efforts still ongoing for selling the assets. So no news on that yet in terms of breaking updates. In the second paragraph down, I think another important point that Mark has raised is with regard to the OTC market. He's confirmed here, obviously, is a securities exchange, and it's a trading market to match buyers and sellers. The other important thing to note here is not heavily regulated, unlike the NASDAQ. So what this is doing is this is allowing the trading of the preference shares MMTLP. So, but let's now have a look at what else has been stated. And again, I think an important thing I'm going to read out for you here, which I think is clarification from the company, and they have said that investors should be aware of the risk in trading in such a market. Meta did not request, has not been involved in, and did not initiate the trading of Series A shares on the OTC market. So as far as Meta is aware, this request was made by one or more brokers by the desire to make a market in such shares, or a broker had to report a trade of Series A shares under FINRA rules. So what that basically tells me, this has not happened because of Meta. This has happened because of a broker or brokers. So as far as I'm concerned, this certainly looks as though it's a possibility of potential manipulation, potential distraction from the point of view of the shorts, maybe paying out and having an effect on in terms of people selling their preference shares or their entitlement to the preference shares. So some kind of manipulation, some kind of dirty games certainly doesn't look right. And we have confirmation here that the OTC market is less regulated. We also have confirmation here that Meta did not request the trading of these preference shares. Okay, so let's now have a look at question 1. So question 1 here is MMTLP stock in lieu of the dividend question mark? So the response here from Mark is no, the two are unrelated. Trading on the OTC has got nothing to do with any dividend that may be declared or paid to Series A preferred stockholders of the company. Whoever owns the Series A shares on the record date for the dividend, and by the way this has not been declared yet, will be entitled to receive it. So that's confirmation of point number 1. So let's have a look at point number 2. So point number 2, how can this trading occur? So what happens with terms of Series A shares? These can be transferred as long as the transfer complies with security laws and other restrictions. So there were no restrictions imposed on the transfer of these shares by the company. So we have confirmation of that. This has allowed the brokers to enable transfer of these shares and allow the trading on the OTC markets, which we know is less regulated. And there's also here confirmation that you should consult with your broker or legal advisor to ensure any transfer of your shares is made in compliance with any legal, contractual or other obligations. So what I have heard on social media is some people have been reporting that their MMTLP shares have been sold without their permission. This is certainly an area of concern, and this is also, in my opinion, highly likely to be a breach of contractual agreement. So certainly that needs to be looked at if that is the case. So question number 3 here, how is the price of the Series A share established? So the answer here is the OTC market establishes the price. Meta is not involved. Again, confirmation here that Meta had nothing to do with this, and Meta in no way influences the price. So what we did see with regard to MMTLP shares was initially the price was 10 cents, and then at one point it went well in excess of $3, currently close to around about $2. Again, confirmation here that this price was established by the OTC market makers. Okay, number 4 I think is quite interesting, and this is how are Series A shares delivered to the new buyers. So what the response here is the broker will coordinate with Meta's transfer agent. The transfer agent is AST US or DTCC for shares held in street name. Street name is something that George mentioned earlier in one of his tweets, to deliver the shares to the buyer. So that is the process here in terms of transfer. And number 5 I think is very, very important. So this is the question here is what happens to my dividend if I sell the Series A shares? So again, this is something that I stated in the previous video, that I will not be selling my Series A shares if I receive them. And we have confirmation here is the right to receive the Series A dividend in the future. Again, we're still waiting for that, is attached to the Series A shares. So basically what that means, if you do not hold these Series A shares when the record date for the dividend is declared, we're still waiting for the record date, you will not receive the dividend. So if anybody did sell these shares, confirmation here, you will not receive the dividend. At the moment, no such record date has been set or dividend declared by Meta. So again, confirmation of no dividend confirmation amount yet. We're still waiting for that. Okay, so the next thing, again, for anybody who has been involved in buying MMTLP shares, this is an important question here, and that is, will this trading continue after the dividend is finalized and paid? So very important to be aware of this answer. So when dividends are fully paid upon the sale of legacy assets, or if the relevant assets are spun out of Meta to Series A holders, what is going to happen then? These shares will be cancelled, so they're not going to be worth anything. Such shares will thereafter cease to exist, no longer be outstanding, and trading will cease. So it's extremely risky to trade these and hold these long term, because once we have award of the dividend, these preference shares will have zero value. And the final question added here by Mark is the question that all of us have been waiting for. When will the dividend be paid? So this is the answer that we all want. So his response is, as previously stated in the proxy filing, the company does expect to sell or spin off the oil and gas assets by December the 28th, 2021. Such date may be later if agreed upon by Meta and Series A preferred representative. So there's a little bit of a caveat there in terms of them potentially extending that date. As of the date hereof, no such dividend has been declared and no record date for such dividend has been set. And finally, just to finish off in terms of confirmation and a summary, these MMTLP shares for the dividend and the sale of the Torch land have got nothing to do with Meta, nothing to do with the company. It's also something that we can see here in terms of Mark's response. He said it was something that was initiated by the brokers. Whether that is got any involvement or manipulation from the point of view of the shorts, time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. But the game is becoming interesting, and certainly I think there may be a possibility of a potential squeeze with something that's going on here. It could be something that the shorts are worried about, and it could be a strategy used by them to potentially avoid that. So we don't know what their plan is. We don't know what's going on. Time will tell. Let's see what happens. So final message just before I end the video, just to recap and reiterate, if you want to receive the dividend for these preference shares, you must hold on. You must not sell your MMTLP shares. I believe many people will have sold because that's what's happening in the market. If you are buying, then somebody is selling. So thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.